have to have royal blood, those little ones. And
Meghan would be nothing if she hadn't married a prince and been looked.
She was apparently screaming to the producers, very, very annoying.
You've been very harsh, one woman to another. I mean, you've just used the phrase, she is not.
No one dared say it out loud, but the words hung like poison in the air. They must have royal blood. Meghan, they whispered, was nothing without the crown. And behind the polished smiles, she was raging, yelling at producers in a storm that smelled like betrayal. Picture this. Just another sunny morning show. Soft lights, cozy couches, mugs of coffee warming nervous hands. Hosts beaming, the usual chatter about crowns and couture. Everything perfect, until it wasn't. The second Angela Levin walked in, the temperature in the room dropped. Calm, sharp, dangerous. Within minutes, the noise died. Every eye locked on her. What she unleashed on live TV wasn't a statement, it was a detonation. The kind of moment that splits timelines in half, before and after. She didn't mention tiaras or family feuds. No, this was the kind of truth buried so deep, even the palace pretended it didn't exist. It began with the children, the royal bloodline. And then, like a match to gasoline, images hit the internet. Prince Harry at a 4th of July parade with little Lilibet. A moment that should have been harmless, but wasn't. Questions rose. Questions no one was meant to ask. Harry's reaction said everything. The spiral. Meghan disappearing like a ghost. A global audience watching their picture-perfect image fracture in real time. This wasn't harmless gossip anymore. This was a global spectacle on fire. And Harry? He wasn't just upset. He was a storm. Red-hot fury twisting what was supposed to be a feel-good TV segment into a PR bloodbath. Angela hadn't just walked onto a set that day. She had walked into history and cracked it open. Angela Levin, the woman royal teams hate to face. She isn't the kind to bow, whisper, or soften a blow. Her career was built on crossing lines others were too afraid to approach. She sees the cracks, the shadows, the secrets they bury beneath polished portraits. That morning, she came with no leash, no filters, no mercy. She sat down, ripped the bandage off, and stared straight into the camera. She didn't drop a bomb. She pressed a red button. And the explosion began with 2 names, Harry, Meghan. But this time, it wasn't about charity galas or royal events. This time, it was about the bloodline itself. Something darker was brewing beneath those polished smiles, truths Harry and Meghan had guarded like royal vaults. Secrets about their children. Customs erased. Traditions shattered. The kind of revelations that make even palace walls whisper. The studio froze. Cameras rolled, but nobody breathed. You could feel the charge in the air, that eerie silence before an earthquake. Millions were watching, morning coffee in hand, unaware they were about to witness a moment the palace would never forgive. Then came the question that split the air in half. Do you think you've been too harsh? One woman to another? Angela didn't blink. She'd just called Meghan unfit and said it with the calm precision of a surgeon cutting into centuries of royal etiquette. At first, the audience half listened. Then, like the flick of a switch, every eye was glued to the screen. This wasn't gossip. This was heresy. She was questioning the royal system itself. Whether Harry and Meghan had followed sacred codes or rewritten them completely. Somewhere, palace PR must have been melting down. Angela sat there serene, as if sipping tea at a funeral. And then she said it, "You're about to see what a true narcissist looks like." Her tone? Cold. Controlled. Deadly. The contrast made it devastating. Because when you drop bombs with a straight face, the world listens. In seconds, the internet combusted. Twitter, or whatever it's called this week, exploded with clips. TikTokers froze mid-scroll. Instagram stories stacked up faster than headlines could print. Everyone asking the same thing. Did she really just say that live? The hosts looked panicked, eyes darting off camera, praying someone would cut to commercial. Angela? Unmoved. She knew what she was doing. And she wasn't about to stop. Then came the twist. She shifted the spotlight to something no one had dared touch, the royal birth process. That ancient ritual the world assumes is sacred and flawless. She reminded everyone, royal births aren't just personal, they're political. Every detail is documented. Hospital, doctors, times, waits, photos on the hospital steps. Those smiling parents holding the heir to the throne for the first time, all choreographed to perfection. Because transparency isn't optional. It's tradition. It's proof. And then Angela leaned in and said what millions had only whispered online. With Archie and Lilibet, none of that happened. No hospital step photos. No doctor's statement. No official record of time or place. Nothing. Something didn't add up. Royal watchers, the ones who live and breathe every crown detail, started piecing it together. The timelines didn't align. The photos felt off. The stories changed depending on who spoke. Each inconsistency small on its own, but together, a picture that looked nothing like any royal birth before. William and Kate? Every tradition followed to the letter. Every document sealed in sunlight. But with Harry and Meghan? Shadows. Silence. Gaps big enough to swallow trust whole. Angela's tone sharpened. This is the first time in modern royal history, she said, that the sacred birth protocol was completely ignored. The studio went ice cold. And then she dropped the line that detonated across continents. According to public record, the only person present at Archie's birth was Harry himself. No royal physician. No palace witness. Just Harry's word. The audience gasped. Phones lit up. Screenshots flew. Questions turned into chaos. Why break centuries of tradition? Why hide something that was always meant to be transparent? Angela didn't hesitate. She unfolded every missing piece like a detective exposing a forged document. Every gap, every silence, every vanished statement. No official announcement. No confirmation. No trace of the once ironclad royal routine. And by the time she was done, the question wasn't if something was wrong, it was how deep the cover-up went. Royal births follow rules carved into stone. Time, weight, place, nothing is ever left to chance. But when Archie arrived, the palace did something unthinkable. The announcement came late. Missing details. Omitted facts. The world tilted its head and whispered, why? The silence began early. No labor updates. No hospital confirmation. The birth was announced only after the baby was already here. Tradition shattered. And then came the confusion, hospital or home, Frogmore or somewhere else. The story shifted like sand, and the Sussex team stayed silent. In the royal world, silence is louder than scandal. Even the travel times didn't add up. Harry's own book offered fragments that didn't match the timelines people meticulously pieced together online. Royal watchers aren't casual fans, they're forensic analysts in pearls. When something doesn't align, they hunt. Photos from Meghan's pregnancy fanned the flames. Little oddities. Subtle inconsistencies. And when baby Archie's pictures dropped, controlled, filtered, tightly curated, nothing like the radiant public portraits the world had come to expect. The palace said nothing. No clarifications. No statements. Just silence. And that silence roared. Angela hadn't just spilled tea. She'd set the table on fire. Comment sections erupted into war zones. Threads exploded. Theories multiplied like sparks in a dry forest. Overnight, royal watchers turned into detectives, syncing timestamps, enlarging photos, drawing maps. And Buckingham Palace, still as a tomb. Then came the whispers. Insiders said Harry wasn't just upset, he was unraveling. Pacing floors. Barking orders. Making frantic calls as if trying to hold back a tidal wave with his bare hands. This wasn't rumor anymore. This was personal. Fans who once adored the couple began to wonder, why isn't she by his side? Why isn't she speaking up? Angela sat calm as glass while Harry burned. And then she twisted the knife. These unanswered questions could jeopardize Archie and Lilibet's place in the royal line itself. One sentence, and the oxygen left the room. This wasn't about PR anymore. This was about bloodlines. Royal succession is an ancient machine built on meticulous documents, precise rituals, and unquestionable proof. Shake the foundation and everything trembles. Angela's voice stayed low and deliberate as she said, if the proper processes weren't followed, their standing could be questioned. Megan's reaction, sources claimed, was volcanic. She shattered a phone. She screamed Angela's name. This wasn't gossip anymore. This was her children. Her fury wasn't PR. It was primal. But rage is a trap. If she stayed silent, the world would whisper. If she spoke, she'd fuel the storm. A lose-lose labyrinth. Angela knew that. She dragged the fight out of the tabloids and into the monarchy itself. The tone of the internet shifted overnight. Meme accounts went quiet. Analysts took over. Charts. Genealogy threads. Protocol breakdowns. Succession laws trending like celebrity scandals. This wasn't chatter. This was a constitutional crisis in real time. Harry and Meghan were no longer the authors of their own story. They were trapped inside someone else's narrative. And Angela, serene, unshaken, was the one holding the pen. Then came her final broadcast that day. This, she said, her voice like ice, is just the beginning. The world stopped breathing. Those 4 words meant more bombs were waiting. More missing records. More unanswered questions. Every post the Sussexes made was now dissected under a microscope. Every silence felt like strategy. Every smile, a warning sign. The palace kept quiet. The internet wouldn't. Angela didn't blink. Why were the protocols skipped? Where are the records? Why don't the timelines align? Theories split into 2 camps. Either they were fiercely protecting their privacy or hiding something much bigger. And whatever that truth is, it isn't buried. It's circling. And the world won't stop digging. Hit subscribe. Stay watching. The storm hasn't passed. It's only begun.